Good morning, everyone. Hooray. It's Sunday. It's less than 1,000 degrees. With still humidity, but that's okay. So, I am leading music today with my friend and compadre Andres Rosales. And Chris is having a little vacay time. So we're going to start with our thank you song. So if you are willing and able, you can stand up as we say, thank you, thank you, thank you. One more. Thank you. Thank you for this day, Spirit. Thank you for this day. Thank you for this day, Spirit. Thank you for this day. This beautiful, this beautiful, this beautiful day. This beautiful, this beautiful, this beautiful day. Thank you for this day, Spirit. Thank you for this day. Thank you for this day, Spirit. Thank you for this day. This wonderful, this wonderful, this wonderful day. This wonderful, this wonderful, this wonderful day. Thank you for this day, Spirit. Thank you for this day. Thank you for this day, Spirit. Thank you for this day. It's a healing, a healing, a healing day. A healing, a healing, this healing day. Thank you for this day, Spirit. Thank you for this day. Thank you for this day, Spirit. Thank you for this day. This joyful, this joyful day. This joyful, this joyful, this joyful day. We say thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you.
And you may be seated. Thank you for being here, being part of Unity Center Peace, where we are inclusive and so many more things. Physics. It loves us no matter where we go. Anyways, I am not Reverend Victoria. Reverend Victoria is off on a well-deserved vacation and will return soon. But to my left, your right, is our wonderful Nathan Jorgensen. Yes. Who not only has a PhD, but is well steeped in spirituality. So we are in for a treat for today. So thank you. Thank you. And you can put down the... I'll get out of the way so that the prayer requests can have their rightful place. So if you would center in with us, and I'm going to let Nathan light our divine light candle and allow that initiation of flame to rekindle and remind us of our own spiritual essence that is alive in us. And let us join in the invocation and prayer, opening prayer, as it comes on here. So together, there is only one presence and one power active in the universe and in my life, God the good omnipotence. Spirit, Mother, Father, God, all of that is us. This is something that we are aware of and that we constantly turn back into. Because when we are aware of that, we get to be all that we are. And it is always a great reminder to come back into this community and feel that. So by us gathering together, be it virtually or in physical presence, we not only reaffirm that for ourselves, but for all of humanity. And so it is.
I surrender. I trust and I know as I surrender, I fall into the arms of love. I surrender.
Just feeling that essence in that song, wrapping us up, holding us, just being present with that. We just allow ourselves to clear anything on our laps so that we can fully be present and allow ourselves to deepen. If it feels comfortable, close your eyes or gaze softly down. And just let my words be your words. In all of this, we just allow ourselves to feel our body, how it is situated, allowing any tension that we might feel, that we might notice, get attention. That attention is love. It's just something. Maybe it just wants a little bit of love, whatever that is. And you can feel that love physically moving in and out in the form of your breath. So allow your breath, this wondrous thing that happens automatically for all of us so many times a day, to just move that love into the places that it wants to be, where it's called for. So that as we breathe, with the inhale, the pause at the top, the exhale, the pause at the bottom, that each one of those phases allows more love into your experience. This universe, when we take it apart, you could say that 99.99999%, which science may call void, is this love that we seek. It fills the universe with this vast potential of beingness. And right now, allowing ourselves to be aware of that puts us directly in this essence of beingness. There's nothing that we have to do. There are no emails to answer. There are no task lists. All of that is enveloped in this same essence of love. And in this moment, we all get to be everything in our experience. So allow that sense of individual self to expand, perhaps beyond your body or beyond your seat. Since it's all love, it's all welcoming. Allow your essence to fill the room you're in, to become past the walls, into nature, be it roads, be it forests, be it rivers, lakes, the sky. Allow yourself to become all of it in the silence. in this expanded state, if there are people, places, or situations that are seemingly not absorbing, not being a part of this love, would you call names softly aloud to invite them in? All of these named aloud or silently are held in this love and are invited in, as well as these prayer requests that I am holding that came from an action of love. And all of these are ready and waiting. All of the powers needed are already queued up, ready for someone to simply say yes. And by inviting them in, we make that easier. Thank you for being a part of their path. So we release these knowing that not only movement has happened, but love has enfolded each and every individual, named and unnamed, that they are truly held in the hands of love. And allowing yourself to bring your body into your experience and feeling fingers and toes. And when you're ready, opening your eyes and looking around and possibly finding, no, it's not possible. It is totally possible. It is very probable. If you look at somebody, you're looking at a divine being. So pick at least two of them. Yes. English is a second language. Love is the first one, okay? I think that's true for all of us, but anyways, they don't always say that in the academic books. If you would, we're going to dive into our mission and vision statements, or vision and mission statements. Yeah, that's the order, vision and mission. So let's really just feel that inside of us and say them not only as what's on the screen, but really as an invitation into our beingness, which is enveloped in those. So, the vision, we envision the divine light awakening in all. Our mission, we center in peace and love. We connect in our hearts with others. We celebrate our journey toward wholeness, and we empower others to experience their spiritual magnificence. And so it is. And we'll Karen and Andres carry it away.
Thank you, sir. This is a little repetitive sort of chant, and you'll get the pattern after I start the first one, but so feel free to sing along. This is just a little original something. When it all comes down, when it all comes down, when it all comes down, there's only love. When it all comes down, when it all comes down, when it all comes down, there's only love. There is only love. There is only love. There is only love to guide your way. There is only love. There is only love. to guide your way, to guide your way, to guide your way. You go within to guide your way, to guide your way, to guide your way. You go within, you go within, you go within, you go within. When it all comes down, you go within, you go within, you go within. When it all comes down, 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 there is only love. When it all comes down, when it all comes down, when it all comes down, there's only love. When it all comes down, there's only love. When it all comes down, there's only love. Thank you for joining. Sounded great.
All right. Thank you, Karen, Andres. Thank you, Chris, for anchoring us in meditation. And thanks, everybody, for being here. I'm happy to be here. I'm happy to be able to speak again. This is my second time speaking here with this community, and I'm happy to be here. A couple weeks ago, Shannon, who, if you don't know Shannon, he teaches the kids and teens upstairs. He emailed and asked, what are you going to be speaking about? Because maybe he'll incorporate that into what he teaches. And I knew for a while what I wanted to talk about. I wanted to talk about time. But this was the first time where I actually typed a summary of it. I was like, what would I say? I said, okay, Shannon, I'm going to be talking about time. Specifically, how a patriarchal capitalist system indoctrinates us with a sense of urgency that hijacks our entire sense of time so that we overschedule our days, weeks, and months to revolve around this sense of urgency and accomplishment, and eventually sacrifice the majority of our years in hopeless pursuit of gaining an endless increase of the very thing that we're sacrificing. So, that's what I want to talk about. And when I think, what is time? When we talk about measuring time, almost everything we would mention is some sort of repetition. So long ago, humans noticed that we have light and we have dark and that we're somehow rotating. We call that a day. We divide it up. That's how we have our hours, our minutes, and our seconds. We talk about months, we talk about a year, and it's all just repetition. That's how we keep track of time. And when we understand time and routines and schedules, I want to recognize that this can be very helpful. It's good to have some sense of time. It's good to have some organization, to be able to have a routine. They give us a sense of purpose. They help us accomplish things. But sometimes the repetitive routines, especially when we're not entirely in control of them, can also lead us to complacency. It can give us a false sense of purpose and identity, and we can use those to avoid something that we truly want in life. That we end up serving our routines and schedules rather than having a schedule and a routine serve us. Sometimes we have creativity and a sense of imagination, and we have this greater sense of inner purpose. And this sense doesn't just occur with the sun going up and down and up and down. We can't just say, oh, it comes up every morning. But we sometimes have this growing sense, and yet tomorrow morning's Monday morning. And that sense of creativity and imagination somehow gets pushed away because of what we have to do. And to challenge this, I understand there's some deeply ingrained beliefs that we all have, very purposefully ingrained into us, that when we challenge this idea of time, there's a lot of automatic responses. People will call you lazy, right? You just don't want to work. You just don't want to do anything. You just want to sit around and do nothing. It's irresponsible to question the order of time. And a lot of this pressure that I felt, that when you learn about, like, you're going to grow up, you're going to get a job, you're going to do this, and the earlier you do this, a lot of it's just about money. And it's about money and how to get money sooner and all the things that money will give us. And so questioning this, you have to recognize there's things we can't control. But sometimes we still want to question and we still want to push them. Sometimes those things we can't control, they exist only because everybody goes along with them. And if there's enough people who start to say, I really don't like this doesn't work, this doesn't serve us, that's when we can start to actually shift these ideas by challenging them. So it's kind of, a few weeks ago, Reverend Victoria mentioned the serenity prayer. I want the power to change what I can change, acceptance of what I can't, and the ability to know the difference. And I think, there's so many things I can't change, but I'm just going to push at it just a little bit, right? And I also will say that when it comes to this, I feel like today I'm not really going to be answering much. I might just be asking more questions, but they're questions that I think are worth thinking about and worth answering. And when we question things, it's not always fun or happy. I've been reading a book lately talking about life journey and making changes in life, and there's these good words like luminous and expanding, and there's also words like bitter and painful, and sometimes just downright boring. And you might not like seeing those, but when I read this, I thought, finally, something feels like it relates to me, because that's how the journey feels to me. So sometimes time stops for us. And sometimes that's a tragedy. Sometimes it's an emergency, something we don't want. Other times we can feel like we're out of time, like when we're deep in meditation. And so something I think of was during the pandemic, when everything just shut down and all the routines. There was obviously a lot of fear and a lot of health scares, but there was also just this, what do we do? And in a little bit of time, a lot of people are like, I'm just going to go out on a walk and enjoy the day, and I'm going to go fix up my bike so I can go on bike rides. But how quickly we get back to the routines of how things go. And so when we have a break from the burden of routine time, like it's something like meditation, it can be a harsh wake-up when we come back and we're like, I still have to face all of these things. But hopefully we can use the freedom that we gain in timelessness to approach life a little bit differently. So I want to take kind of that negativity, right, criticizing the system. I'm guessing some of you feel it about like this pressure of time. We could spend weeks analyzing it and thinking about it, but for now I just want to put it over there and just put it in a box. It's important to understand that because it does shape the way we think and behave, but if we just spend our whole lives fighting it, it's still going to have control over our lives. So I want to just put it aside, and I want to try to talk a little bit, how I see at least, some bigger picture ideas about time that actually feed into a lot of that. But stepping back a little bit. And one thing that I want to share a quote, it's going to come up here, that actually really, it may sound silly, but it was really impactful to me. It says, "Your so-called boss may own the clock that taunts you from the wall, but my friends, the hour is yours." And that really set in for me, right? A clock that taunts us from the wall. Does anybody ever feel taunted by a clock? I think it was Karl Marx who once said that a system truly has power over us when there's an idea and you don't need to police anybody. They do it themselves with their own sense of conscience. And we have a lot of guilt about time, right? Responsibility. I want to be productive. I want to do this. And if I'm enjoying something, I might be like, but maybe I should be. And so we sort of police ourselves that this clock can taunt us from the wall, but the reminder that the hour is ours. So I want to go and talk a little bit about some parts of time that don't actually repeat. It's not about the repetition of days and weeks and months. And some of this is brought about by contemplating the end of life. The inevitable thing, the one sure thing that we all know is going to happen, that we really don't like talking about, can help us think more reflectively about the time that we do have. I'm going to pull up this next slide. So I study developmental psychology. If we could skip this one, I'm going to come back to this one, actually. Yeah, keep going. It'll go to the next slide where it's got people. Oh, okay. All right. If you go back then maybe, keep going back. Maybe the one got skipped. It just had people on it. That one. There we go. So now if we think about our life doesn't really occur linearly, even though when we talk about it, we sometimes do. If I say draw a timeline, you'll be like, okay, here's this date, and then there's the line, and we put on these important events, and then eventually it comes to an end. So it's this line. And regardless of what we believe about another life, we don't really know a whole lot about it, so there might be this cycle, but what we actually know and experience, it's just a line. And some of these things don't repeat. And that actually makes me ask a lot of questions about, well, I do have another day tomorrow, probably, and another day, but I'm not going to be the same age again, and my kids aren't going to be the same age again. And I do have this time now that I probably won't have later. It's not just going to keep in the cycle. So how can I better value the time that I have? So developmental psychology is just one way that people have thought about the lifespan, to organize our life and to give it a story, talking about change and continuity over time, being born, growing up, all the things we learn. And what I've realized is that sometimes this story of life actually serves that purpose of the urgency, of the routines. Sometimes in psychology, we might focus on what we want kids to become. And there was another picture that I could have used for this, but it told a story a little better because it had the kid growing up, and then there's a backpack because you go to school, and then they're wearing a suit because that's what we do when we go to work, and then getting older and older. And that's really not a story of life and the things that are happening. It's not a story of psychology. It's of the things that we do. And so there is this story of the milestones, that what's important and what do we want. And if we only measure our life by those, we're much more likely to get caught in this mentality of urgency and routine. And one thing that I study, that I found a lot of meaning, and I've learned a lot about myself personally, is by studying the topic of identity. So, and I know I've talked some here about this as well, but asking the question of what is our identity and how do we think about and process ourselves, and doing that across the age. So, cognitively we grow, socially we grow. How does that impact the way we see ourselves over time? And little kids they could, if you ask them about themselves, they can tell you, but they don't really think a whole lot about it. It's not like maybe we do as adults. They just behave the way that they feel, right? They feel their feelings, they do what they love. We train them to not always do what they love. But as we grow, so you're going through childhood into adolescence, that's a big time when identity starts to change, because that's a big time when the person themselves starts to ask these questions about who am I, about where do I belong. They have enough memory now where they can kind of remember the past and realize that it's not quite the same, and realize like, oh, I'm changing, right? I'm growing, my body's changing, my social life is changing. And so there is this question, and that's not always an easy thing, but it's something that we go through. And then the story of identity would be that eventually we settle on our identity, we resolve it, and we form this identity, and then we just live for the rest of our lives. And now as I'm getting older and talking with more people, I've realized, wow, why is our story of identity just kind of like stop there, right? We don't really resolve it. It's something we're always thinking about. It's something that's always changing, even when we don't want to think about it because it's uncomfortable. Our experiences shape the way we see ourselves. So I was at a research conference about a year ago, and there was this really well-known psychologist who, her name's Margaret Beale Spencer, and she said, and this was to a huge audience of adults who study adolescents, who study teenagers and all the changes and things. And she said, I love working with and studying teens, even though they get a little bad rap in society and we, teens, they need to learn. But she said, because adolescence is the last bastion of truth in our society. Because at some point, we all learn to tell lies. And that I was the same. I was like, but yet, that's true. We tell lies about ourselves. We tell lies about society. And I think that children actually see the world very, very clearly. Even if they don't have words to describe it, they can see justice and injustice, right and wrong, fairness. But eventually, we have to cope, and we have to tell some story about why it's not all fixed. And that's when we tell these stories of, I guess that's just the way it is. I guess these people and those people and whatever. And so that hit pretty hard. Children really do see truth, even when they don't fully understand it. And teens sometimes start fighting for it, and they see all these things, and we're just grow up, right? You got to grow up. You just got to accept some things, which is kind of a sad story, even if we've all experienced it. But another thing, I was talking with a wise teenager recently who was talking about growing up, and as she's growing up, she realizes there's certain things that you grow out of. I don't really like all of these things, but there's certain things that I still like, and even if they're childish. So she said, part of maturity is accepting immaturity. That she and her friends still like certain games, certain toys, TV shows, or other things, and that maturity means accepting who you are and who you are becoming. And to do that, you have to accept the immaturity within yourself. I thought that was pretty wise. I thought as an adult, we can get in touch with some of that immaturity as well. Now, I want to share another bigger picture topic of time and how we think about time. If we could go to the next slide. And this is a story of life, thinking more eternally. Now, I'm going to share this as something that I was taught, something that you might have been taught. I'm not teaching it as a doctrine. I'm also not putting it up to put any criticism or laugh and say, oh, look what some people believe. But I'm going to share this idea that before life, we existed somehow. And actually, so many traditions across the world. This is a more Christian-based one, but so many traditions believe there was something, some consciousness. But I'm going to say that before this, we lived with God, but we weren't quite who we are now, right? We weren't this physical being. And then as we came here to begin our earthly existence, that'll come up. We go through this little fence, this veil thing of forgetfulness. So you could call this some sort of separation from whatever we were, where we don't remember that, even if we have an inkling that something was there. And then we live on earth, and then we die, and then there's judgment, and there's the heaven, and there's the hell. And again, I'm putting this up. This is the way that I have thought about this for a long time. And whatever you believe about what is after or what was before, whatever that is, it's going to impact how you live today. And as you also know, I have questioned and changed my belief system throughout the years. But this was one that I never really questioned this directly. What I questioned was a lot of the things about that earth part. When somebody tells you, you got to do this, you got to do this, you got to do this, and it'll make you feel happy. That's what I really questioned. And then to say, well, then what is my story now? And I can't say I have a solid story or a solid belief. I like to leave that somewhat mysterious and focus on what we do know. And I brought this up, again, to show that the way we think about time does impact the behaviors and the life that we lead. But I was also thinking recently, as myself growing up and watching my kids grow up and realizing that the teenage years are a tough time. And I'm sure anybody who's a parent or who's watched a child grow up has realized this as well, but I want to do everything I can for them. And there's certain things that I think, I don't want this to happen, I don't want that to happen, I'm sure this will happen, but how can I not just necessarily protect, but avoid certain things and be with them throughout this path? And that's hard because there's just certain things you have to go through. And I was thinking, what's a way that I can understand this whole like childhood to the teenage years into adulthood? And what I wanted to share, if we could go to the next slide, is I actually started to think about it combined, okay, with what I was just talking about with psychology. If you can click through till the people appear at the bottom. I wanted to think then about this story as actually not anything before we were born or after we die, but to take this story and overlay this with the story of human development and the lifespan. Because when I know children and work with children and study children, and as I said, with their identity, they can't tell you very much about themselves, but boy, they live as themselves, fully themselves. I feel happy, I'm the happiest thing in the world. I feel angry, you're going to know about it because this anger just flows right through them. So they are very much in touch with that divine nature within them, perfectly, right? And they are with God, which is themselves and their own connection to divinity and their own connection to self. And then that whole separation, that forgetfulness, is that at some age, usually around the late childhood and early adolescence, you're told that you have to define yourself. And there's all these questions that come up, and you have to answer these questions, and you have to fit in, and you worry about how you look, and you worry about who you are so much that that is the separation from that purity of childhood. Now, a child doesn't fully understand the beauty of what they have. Another child told me recently something of, oh, man, when I'm an adult and I don't have all these restrictions of being a child, and I thought, it's the other way around. You have the freedom. But yes, you do have bedtime and things like that. So I see how this feels like a restriction, but I was like, no, we have the restrictions. The restrictions are on us, and you have the freedom. So as I think about my own journey spiritually, as I think about how what I've learned from church, what I've learned from psychology can give my life a new story. This is what I wanted to share, is that children truly are with God, but they don't know it. They don't understand it. And then there's this period where we're confused, where we ask all these questions, we come up with stories, layers upon layers of stories. Some are given to us, some are told to us, some we choose for ourselves. And then as we're adults, our goal is kind of to go backwards, to work back through those stories, to ask ourselves questions about what I've been told about my identity, what I believe about my identity, what I believe about who I am, and find that some of these don't serve me. Some of these do not fit that true nature. To really get back in touch with the God, the divinity that is within us, and that is sort of what we experience here in this life. Could happen. I'm sure some people are like, I've always been in touch with myself. You know, it's been like, they're like 20 and they've got this whole happiness. They're with God. It's like the idea of eternal life and they live that way. It might take us a lot longer, but it doesn't matter how old we are. It matters the feeling and the joy and the beauty of being able to be back in touch with that pure self, to be back in touch with our connection to divinity, with our connection to God, that it happens here. So, I want to try to resist fully growing up, fully just accepting everything that we're told about duties and responsibilities and about all of this structure, to truly see that we can then be back together with that divinity, to have what we had as a child, but now we have understanding. Now we have knowledge. And as well, as an adult, again, as I study psychology, I study education, and I look and I see there's so much pressure on kids. It's no wonder we turn out the way we are. That we're in these systems that don't really encourage moral values and creativity and imagination and freedom to think. And so, as adults, we get life. We know how things work. We work in different jobs. We know how this works and that works and all these different systems. We could put our energy now into connecting with childhood, connecting with adolescents, who they see things so clearly. And rather than saying, oh, just grow up and come into the systems that we're in and you'll just keep going. But to see, this is how we can change, is to see the vision that young people have and to know that that's actually possible. And rather than putting the energy into our own status and in our own identity and our own well-being, but to put that into bringing about a world that maybe only children can imagine because they're the only ones who see it clearly. So that's the end of my talk. I want to just close by saying that I think we have a limited imagination of what life can be, both for us individually, as a community. We have these limits. But if there's something that's in you that's calling, wants something different, it wants to come out through you, you want to be something, you want to bring something, I believe there is a way to that. I believe that's through these types of questions individually and then being able to come together in a community like this where we can talk about this, where we can connect in this area. So when we think about our lives, when we think about how we want to spend them, just remember, isn't it about time? So thank you, and I want to, yes, thank you. And I also want to pre-thank Karen and Andres for this next song. I think it's going to go beautifully with the message that I shared, and just want to thank them and thank everybody else. So thank you.
When I grow up, I will be tall enough to reach the branches that I need to reach to climb the trees you get to climb when you're grown up. And when I'm grown up, I will be smart enough to answer all the questions that you need to know the answers to before you're grown up. And when I grow up, I will eat sweets every day on the way to work, and I will go to bed late every night, and I will wake up when the sun comes up, and I will watch cartoons until my eyes go square. And I won't care, 'cause I will be all grown up when I grow up. When I grow up, when I grow up, I will be strong enough to carry all the heavy things you have to haul around with you when you're a grown up. And when I grow up, when I grow up, I will be brave enough to fight the creatures that you have to fight beneath the bed each night to be a grown up. And when I grow up, I will have treats every day, and I will play with things that mom pretends that moms don't think are fun. And I will wake up when the sun comes up, and I will spend all day just lying in the sun. And I won't burn, because I'll be all grown up when I grow up. When I grow up, I will be brave enough to fight the creatures that you have to fight beneath the bed each night to be a grown up.
So who fights the creatures under the bed every night? Thank you, Nathan. Thank you, Karen and Andres. It's fascinating what children think adults are and what we think children are. Or maybe adults think what children are. I don't know. Maybe we're less adults now after that talk. Who knows? Yeah, hopefully, we are. I'm just going to claim it. Who's with me? All right. So, I don't know what this was totally fine before the service, but we're bringing in other planets. We're just going to play with it. So, as I echo, we'll just keep it running. So, we've only got now. We've only got each other in this moment. So why not be a community? Yes? And we can be a community of Peter Pan, beers, whatever. But we also get to be love with each other. And to me, that's really important. That, to me, speaks of that community. And hopefully, in your journey of being here or being in this experience now, you've gotten more of that. So what I would love for you to do is however that works for you, there's various ways that we contribute back into this community. And one of those is through financial. If you're here for the very first time, whatever feels right, or sit back and see what happens next, that's totally fine. This is not an obligation. That's the adult thing that we're putting in the box with time that Nathan talked about, okay? But what you're called to do or be is exchanging in this community. That's the life piece of this, more like a river, much more than a pond or a lake. And so there are various ways of doing that. Stuff on the screen. If you do online or Venmo, we have a blue card so you can actually participate in the next part. And if you're a conscious sustainer, we have the green card. And there's all kinds of things in between. But what's really key is being in touch with your heart. You with me on that? Yes. All right. So let's say that. So whatever representation of gift you have, get that in your hands. If you're sharing with a loved one, put that together, and let's do the blessing together. Together, divine love through me blesses and multiplies all that I have, all that I give, all that I receive, and all that I am.
Power of love is here now. The power of now is here now. The power of you and me is here to create magic on earth. The power of love is here now. The power of now is here now. The power of you and me is here to create magic on earth. The power of love is here now. The power of now is here now. The power of you and me is here to create magic on earth. The power of love is here now. The power of now is here now. The power of you and me is here to create magic on earth. The power of now is here now. The power of now is here now. The power of love is here to create magic on earth.
If you would extend your hands to these gifts, love in physical form that is going out through this community, supplying what is needed for this community, for our staff, for our building, for our grounds, and all of that, but going beyond, going out into the world, these rivers of love, moving out through the world, transforming into what is needed for every person along the way, and coming back to the giver in the ways that are wanted and needed most. We love this flow, we recognize it, and we release it. And so it is. I'm handing Mary the prayer request box, so if you have any prayers that are people that you would like prayed over by our wonderful trained prayer partner, prayer team, I get all the words right, they will do that, so just avail yourself of that. It's out in the foyer. And let's see, those of you that are new for the first time, thank you. You probably got a little card, if you would fill that out on both sides and get that back. And then if there are people who have returned for the second or third time, would you be willing to raise your hand? We won't bite you. All right, yay. So we have a little gift for you. Just want to, Mary, up here in the blue. Oh, do you have the packet? Anyways, we will get you a packet later. Thank you. All right. So, we also have flowers. Yay! Stand over here because. Anyways, so we have these wonderful flowers, and they have been given by Joy Bell, who is or was the point person for We've Got Your Back. I can't remember if you've switched off now or not. There's a monthly cycle. But she has a very special dedication. And these are for the Ken-doers in our church community. There's a particular shout out to the Volks, that's Laura and Joe, who, much like Stephanie, whom we heard about a few weeks ago, opened their home to a flood victim and coordinated the cleanup process. Also for the others who came out to do the cleanup, and still others who provided resources and housing tips, as well as all the prayer support that made it all work so seamlessly. So this is our community of Ken-doers. Thank you. But that's not all. I'm reading this part. Okay. What a joy to be on committees where when a need is expressed, you hear, I can do that. And where people feel regret when their life circumstances get in the way and they can't do as much as they would like to their hearts. I have learned there are so many caring hearts in doing love's work here that it would take up the rest of the service to mention it all. Please know that these flowers are here for you all. Thank you. Yes. And with that, we'll have some more music. Yes?
I'm sure you'll sing along by the end. Feel free to join. This is called Let Love Lead the Way. I'm gonna let love lead the way. I'm gonna let love save the day. In the darkest moments or on the brightest days, we're gonna let love lead the way. When I'm feeling down and when I wanna be part of something bigger than me, yeah. When I'm feeling lost and feel the weight of all my fears, I wanna find my way back home. Gonna let love lift my load. Yeah, let love lead the way. I'm gonna let love sing. Yeah. In the darkest moments or on the brightest days, I'm gonna let love lead the way. Love she wants to steal. Love can drive the truck. Love behind the wheel. Love can step it up. There is no denying how it makes you feel when you open up and you let love take the wheel. Yeah, sing it, but love lead the way. We're gonna let love lead the way. Let's sing that all together. We're gonna let love lead the way. We're gonna let love lead the way. 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 Remember, let love lead the way. Well, in your darkest moments or on the brightest days, you just let love lead the way. You gotta let love lead the way. Yeah. Let love lead the way. 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 Let love lead the way.
Woo! I'm all for that. So we're going to have a little bit of love leading the way, particularly because we're in a new month. What does that mean? Yes, and we're going to have our very own Roshana come up and lead our special birthday song. Yeah, who's, raise your hand. Pat, yes. All right, this is for you, yeah. Yeah, whole month of August.
That's right.
So,
1, 2, 3, 4, 1. Happy birthday to you. We're so glad you're alive. You're a gift from the earth. Bless the day of your birth. Bless the day of your birth. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. We're so glad you're alive. You're a gift to the earth. Bless the day of your birth. Bless the day of your birth.
to help celebrate, we have some cake or goodies will be in part of the Sacred Cafe. Sorry, those of you streaming, no way to deliver that. So, we haven't figured out how to do that yet. But we have other things moving afoot. So, also, we have our full moon fire ceremony coming up this Friday, August 8th, 7 to 8:30. So, yes. So, in particular, we're going to have Mark and Katya leading this. They're going to be celebrating the Lamas or Lunasa. Thank you. Which marks the first harvest and honors the Celtic god Lu and his foster mother. I'm not going to. What? Telton, probably. Teltu. Okay. We have a Celtic expert in the audience, so that's why I'm hesitating to butcher it. So there will be all kinds of things to help celebrate that. You can bring an item to swap or something to share, whatever, and please, it will be outside, obviously, so wear appropriate clothing for whatever the weather wants to be. Hopefully it'll continue this coolness that way. So that will happen right here, probably in the parking lot is where the starting point will be. Also, moving on, UMass, which is the Unity Ministers of Mid-Atlantic States, that's why we say UMass, because that's a lot easier to say, always has an annual retreat in the fall. And so that is happening, and you can see that the Sacred Kaleidoscope is the title topic that is holding that all together. This is happening September 16th through 19th, and we have a scholarship available. which I believe is I think is roughly half of the cost of lodging and meals. And so if you are interested in that scholarship, we need as short as, say, by August 6th for you to do that. And I believe you can see that down at the bottom. There's more information on our website. But if you get that in, there's a good chance you could win a scholarship. So you get part of it paid for. And it is always, I think, raise your hand if you've been to one of these retreats. So Pat, Mary, Barnsley. So if you want to know what's so good about those, you can talk to them directly. But everybody who has come back has said it's always been so worth it. So find out more on our site and sign up. Okay. You've probably noticed that we've had a couple of pick-a parties, and we've got the next one coming up. So who likes to dance? All right, mark this date, August 23rd, right here in the sanctuary. There will be a dance party sponsored by Debbie Hall, our office manager, and so all kinds of things. I am sure there will be a disco ball and some other things going on, fun. At least that happened last time. So it will be a fun time had by all. Obviously, all ages are welcome. And sign up. That's what you need to do. Also, in this area, we are blessed to have somebody who is a very prominent Unity educator, and that is Reverend Pat Venema, who used to be a part of this community. And so she is offering a 12 Powers 5-week class series, and there's all kinds of details. It starts August 24th, it starts September 2nd, but if you sign up by August 24th, the price is less. So think about it, find out more about it. But if you've ever been curious about the 12 Powers, this is a great person to learn it from. So that is offered. It is happening on, I believe it's online. Yeah, I'm skimming through here and I would assume that it is. So it's Tuesday evenings, 5 to 7. So find out more on our website. Also, this has started last week. Thank you, Maria. But we are in the second of the 5 weeks. So if you want to Nathan was so kind to bring us up about kids and adulthood and all of this. And so you might be in that quandary of, I am the quote-unquote adult in this situation. So you can avail yourself of this connected parent. Maria, do you want to say something about this?
There are mostly parents of teens and tweens in our group. So if you're a parent of some older children, you're welcome, and younger children, you're welcome. And my daughter Olivia will be here for the free child care if anyone needs it.
Yeah, so if you didn't hear that, mainly tweens and teens, and there's child care provided. So that will happen after the service. Look for Maria. And okay, and if there was something that you would love to chew on from this juicy service, we have an option for you. It's called the Deeper Dive Discussion, and today our very own Barnsley Brown is facilitating that in room 103, which is the last door on the right in the hall, down the hall. And so you can bring your stuff from Sacred Cafe, bring it in there, and have a wonderful discussion in deepening your understanding and your takeaways from today. So you've heard about Sacred Cafe. That is happening. It's outside because it's nice. Why would you not want to be outside today? I don't know, but it's going out there. And also, if there's anything in your head or heart that is not jiving quite right, we do have our 3-minute miracle, which is being held in prayer by our very own Reverend Pat Webster. She will be available probably out in the hall and then going down to the last door on the left in the ministry office for that. So please avail yourself of that. And I think that covers everything we need to, but I hear children, so maybe we should sing them in. What do you think, Karen?
I am the radiant light from God. I am, I am, I am. I am the radiant light from God. I am, I am, I am. The health of God, the strength of God, vitality, energy.
Well, how do you do? Happy August. We had 3 powerful children today and a powerful adult as well. So thanks to Laura for coming out. Today we started, we also had 3 other kids that came up. So we had a nice flow. Anyway, today we started talking about the power of will. And I forgot my paper. So we're talking about like the will to change, to choose, and to lead, right? And we're kind of going to take it from a child's standpoint or a teen standpoint of how to interact with parents, right? You can choose to observe, similar to I actually took the words from the Connected Parent book. We can choose to observe. We can choose to connect with where we are with our feelings and our thoughts. We can consciously choose the next step and then create. There's 4 C's, and I had 3 of the 4 anyway. So thank you. Yeah. So we're going to keep on working that so that, again, we can just choose something different with our power of will. And we can also, as I experienced today, the power of saying, no, I'm not going to do what you said, Shannon. So power of will. So we'll continue working on that. And what else? Is there anything else? My hope is that the 5th Sunday of August, we're going to have a bit of a stand-up comedy routine. Yeah, you got to roast the parents, so work on your egos. Here we go.
All right. Let's bless these children, the children of the world, the children inside us, with our blessing. We love you. We bless you. We appreciate you just the way you are. And we behold the Christ in you. Mwah. All right. Find your families. And if you all would stand, if you're able, we're going to join in our prayer of protection with I am statements and out to the peace song. All right. Together. The light of God surrounds us. I am the light of God. The love of God enfolds us. I am the love of God. The power of God protects us. I am the power of God. The presence of God watches over us. I am the presence of God. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well.
Hi, it's Reverend Victoria here. I'm at Unity Center of Peace with our house band, Bright Matter.
Hello.
Yeah, and if this video has inspired you or empowered you or opened your heart, opened your consciousness, or even just given you hope, we ask that you support what we're doing here by making a donation today, going to unitychapelhill.org or clicking the link below. And we thank you.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.